What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and today I'm going to be telling you about my budget jet deck. Budget. So, big shout out to our sponsor, Rochester CCG. Go to rochesterccg.com if you like the deck, and go find all the singles. Sean said he's also going to try and take and put a one-click buy option on all the decks that we've done for this past week. Michael called this week Budget Beasts. I liked that name a bunch. Budget Beasts week 1. So we had a limited budget of $50. We try to hit as close to that number as physically possible. If you like the content, go to patreon.com/TCGU for that. Until then, let's jump into the deck. All right, everybody, so this is Jet. He is a 6-hand size character with 29 life. He's got Earth, Fire, and Good. We're playing it off the Good symbol today. He says, response, remove 2 attacks from your discard pile. After a non-multiple card is played, it gets +2 or -2 to all of its keyword ratings printed on it. And then enhance, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Your attack gets +2 damage. Wow, this character is super, super good. The main thing that we're playing this deck for is I want to stun out my entire opponent off of a singular or 2 attacks. I don't care if they have 20 foundations. All of those foundations are going to be committed, and then I'm going to mill 2, and I'm going to smack them for a little bit of extra damage. All of the attacks that we're playing are fairly low damage attacks, but with Jet plus their own ability, they're going to be skyrocketing in order to kill my opponent. He's got 29 health. That's a bunch. it's a little bit to get through. So let's just jump into the deck. All right, so into the deck. I wanted to play actions and assets inside of this deck in order to make it the most interesting that it can be. I think actions and assets really bring alive some of the cool combos when it comes to UFS. And so I'm playing 3 Fight Like You Mean It. This card says remove. If your stun or weapon attack is not blocked, your next attack gains 4 damage and is unblockable. This is super value. A lot of our attacks are fairly slow, but we are stunning out our opponent so much that it's possible that this card can just kill them, especially with some big swingy cards like we have. Really, really, really rad card. I like this card a bunch. If we had more of a speed pump, I'd be even more into it, but we don't, and that's okay. Moving on. Playing 1 Shishio, destroy your stun or weapon attack gets 2 damage. Destroy a foundation gets 2 damage, and then commit after an attack is blocked. Add 1 stun or weapon card from your card pool to your staging area face down. Just builds extra with Jet. Jet gets these attacks get even bigger. If it said +2 speed, we'd be like super down. Give it 2/2. But it says damage, so the goal is to catch your opponent with a miss and block. On our attacks, we're playing 4 Black Dog's Fangs. This is our most expensive card in our deck. This is really here just for the Breaker 3 because the Jet's going to increase all of our keywords, so it increases Breaker Stun. So Breaker 3, Stun 3, and then it gets to slightly reloop itself. This card does have an errata. It says on card text, after an attack resolves, add this card to your hand. And so you could pick itself up, but that's not how it works now. It says after another attack resolves. So you could play 2 Black Dog's Fangs and pick up the first one, or you block with your Black Dog's Fang, Breaker 3 them with Jet, and then pick up that same Black Dog's Fang. They're probably not going to throw another high attack at you. Super, super good card, worth the value. Maybe you don't need 4 of it in the deck, but for what we're doing here, we did. We're playing 4 Thunderbolt Blade. This is our other main kill condition. This card has Stun 2, Stun 4 in Jet. Discard a momentum, add up to 2 weapon cards from your card pool to your staging area face down. Your opponent can discard 2 cards to cancel this. So this card is just I'm going to keep going card. It also says check a 5. This attack gets +4 damage. So +4 +2 off of Jet. This thing is a 5 high for 10 with stun 4. Very strong stuff. Very strong stuff. We're also playing 4 Purifying Thrust. If you notice, we are playing all of Mitsurugi's cards. It says stun 1, enhance check a 5. You can add another Purifying Thrust from your discard pile down to your staging area, face down committed, and it gets 2 damage. And this also says check a 5, get another 3 damage. So this Purifying Thrust is a 4 high for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as well. So 10 damage off Thunderbolt Blade, 10 damage off Purifying Thrust. All our attacks are just real beefy if we get to check our 5s. And with Jet milling cards on every one of our attacks, my attacks and your attacks, because the damage pump only works on my stuff, it's easy to have a Purifying Thrust in order to build it down so that the next turn I get to go off even harder. My last Mitsurugi attack, we're playing for Zen Blade. It has stun 1 weapon, combos with a weapon, so it combos with all of the attacks we've seen prior. If you've added a card to your staging area this way, using Shishio or Purifying Thrust or some other cards that we have down here, your stun rating gets increased by 2. This card finishes the job. With Jet increasing our stun rating by 2, and then it increasing our stun rating by 2, this is a stun 5 card. And then enhance check a 5. This attack gets plus 3 damage. With Jet, it's another 2 damage. It is a 8 damage. No, 7 damage attack. 7 damage attack with stun 5. Just says that they don't get to block anything else for the rest of the turn. And then our main momentum getter, we've got 4 ISSP grapple. So this is I put this card last because actually it just doesn't combo with Zen Blade, and surprisingly these two wanted to float together a whole bunch when I played the deck. It has stun 1, stun 3 in Jet. E at the top card of your discard pile is a foundation. Add it to your hand. If it's not a foundation, it gets plus 2 damage. So off of that, it can be a 4-low for 8 in Jet, and then it makes itself a pseudo throw if your name is Jet. So there's some good stuff because we've got some momentum outs with Thunderbolt Blade as well as Black Dog Fang. This card just is our free momentum. It doesn't have a block. Be careful. Don't hold it too much. On our foundations, we're playing for Presidente on the house. The main reason we're playing this card is removing our foundations is super value. We're discarding the top 2 cards out of our off our deck for 2 damage anyways. Let's give it 2 more damage. Let's just smack them up as hard as we can. Let's take our base 10 damage attacks and make them even stronger. In addition to that, the card has Breaker 1, Breaker 3 in Jet. It can just end turns. We're playing for Toughest Punk in Junior High. If you've noticed, I do have some speed hate stuff in here, but it's not too terribly much. And so just face tanking and just taking this attack is probably what's going to happen instead. And so I want to make sure that we can stay alive. Flipping this for -3 damage overall is really good on the half block especially. So -3 damage, Breaker 3 good plays. Our main speed pump, this card is super strong in Jet. It is called Early Awakening. It has 2 abilities: enhance, remove, add all copies from Early Awakening from your discard pile to your staging area, and then enhance commit. This deck is +1 speed for each Early Awakening in our staging area. So with Jet, on turn 1, I've built Early Awakening, and on Jet, I've discarded the other 3. I'll remove these, and I've now built these foundations. I have +3 speed, +3 speed, +3 speed. It means that my 10 damage attacks are just for guarantee going to get through, all for the cost to commit 1 foundation. Really rad stuff. Playing for Folktale Storyteller, this card mills 3 more cards for Jet's rad ability, as well as builds itself down for Zen Blade in order to make sure that it can stun 5 people. In addition to that, it's got a gnarly low block, and it's really good for just playing aggressive stuff. Playing a double Bonsai Enthusiast, I really want to make sure that my Breaker just ends their turn outright. In addition to that, this card says commit, draw a card if my keyword rating is 2 or higher. So remove 2 foundations, or 2 attacks, or commit a card to draw an extra card. Value. We're playing double Kiko's Aid. Sometimes I block with things that don't have Breaker on them. And so this thing says essentially Breaker 2 to the next attack. But this plus Jet means that your opponent's just not allowed to play an attack as their next card. And if they do play it, so they'll play a non-attack in order to get rid of Jet's Breaker, and then they'll play an attack and still have that Breaker lingering. Really rad combination with Jet himself. Playing triple Marshall Banana. Enhance commit +5 damage. Kill people. That's just what this card does. We're playing double Emergency Rations. A lot of times people can take away our card text, or foundations can be scary, and I want to make sure in these budget decks we had some sort of discard hate. And this card says if it gets discarded due to my bonus effect, I get to draw 2 cards. So it just replaces itself +1. And it also turns off annoying things my opponent's trying to do. We're playing double $500 Sunglasses. This card's super red in combination with Toughest Punk in Junior High. Reduce the damage to 1, and then the damage I would take then becomes 0. And then our commit, after opponent plays an ability, they commit one of their cards. Maybe they've built into super heavy deadlock. This card just says commit 2, and then Zen Blade's going to commit 5, right? So we want to commit as much as we can. Double Feng Shui, discard the top 2 cards. This attack gets -1 speed. It's just a little bit of a speed hate, a little bit of speed mitigation. I want to keep this alive as much as possible, and I want to get stuff in my discard pile for Jet. One Feigned Interest. This is kind of a baby jet. Respond, commit, increase stun ratings by... No, put stun ratings at 0, respond, destroy, increase them by 1. Respond, commit, putting ratings to 0 is super good, especially on like a multiple attack. Really value card. It is a 3/4 with a 4 mid block, so you always want to play this card. You never want to get this caught in your hand. But if you do play this card, it just becomes instantly the scariest thing on the board. Playing 1, I have a sword. This is just to pick up toughest punks and try and loop them a little bit. This card probably isn't needed in the deck, but it was fun as a one-of. Playing 1 Wandering Pirate. This card's way cheaper than I thought it would be. It says respond after this card's committed. Ready another card that we haven't played. And a really easy one is like Marshall Banana. And then on my opponent's turn, it readies itself, and then after it readies, it gets to ready another thing as well. So this card by itself is like 4 foundations if you play it correctly. We're playing 1 with Nature. It is our speed increase, our speed buff, as well as a little bit of extra damage, as well as getting some other cards in our discard pile for maybe Jet or Presidente of the House, making sure that my Zimblades just can't be blocked. If I had this versus Gil, the game would have been totally different. And then my last card is Warrior Descendant, blowing up things I don't want and to give it more damage. Like I said, this deck just wants to kill you, and so just killing you is super good. In addition to that, destroy for minus damage probably is going to save your life. All right, this was my Jet deck, Bud Jet, if you would. Thank you very much for watching this. If you like the content, please go out to patreon.com/TCG University and support the show. Also, big shout outs to our sponsor for this week, Rochester CCG. As I said at the very tip top, if you like the deck, go out. Sean said he's going to have a one-click buy. If not, go find all the cards on Ultra, see what kind of deck you need. But Jet's one of those really rad characters that is only going to get stronger the crazier keywords get. And not only does he play keywords really well, but he says your opponent can't play keywords at all. So from all of us here at TCGU, stay learned.